So this week I've kind of done a little bit of a dive back into the Ableton Push, the 3, the Standalone, the Push 2023, whatever you want to call it. I have been focusing on Standalone mode again. The last video I made about the Push was with the controller mode, but I just had this itch of like, I actually do want to use this thing. And it actually kind of reminds me of the view I have from my apartment, where when I look out at it, it's just the view from my apartment. I've kind of grown used to it, but when other people see it, they're like, whoa, that's a really cool view. And I kind of feel the same way about the Push, where it's like, it obviously has some issues like my apartment does, such as my neighbor whose bass won't ever shut up and makes me want to die. But, it also has amazing views, and it also has a lot going for it. And I feel like the Push is the same. It has so much going for it that it's kind of easy to take it for granted and just see the things that are annoying. But it really is almost the best standalone device, I think, on the market. It's missing some things I would like, such as even a simple arranger mode to record in to see your whole song before you go do more with it on the computer. And especially, and this is across the board for Ableton, not just the Push, but because the Push can only run Ableton plugins, like built-in live plugins, I really feel the lack of a real-time auto-tune or any kind of auto-tune, and really anything focused on like vocal correction. Obviously I don't need it, but there are certain styles of music that really benefit from auto-tune and pitch correction in general, so that would be nice to have. But that aside, I want to just talk about what I made this week, because I'm really happy with this beat and I might actually end up turning it into a finished song. And I got a lot of the way there on the Push. And so I'm going to walk you through kind of the different pieces and what's going on here, and then I'll play the song for you. So the first thing I did was I made this little loop. And so this is using, I actually don't know what the whole name of this thing is, and I don't know if there's a way for me to see it. Cascadian something. I think it's either a pad or a synth key. It looks like it's using operator and then a bunch of other effects. And I don't think I'm doing much else effects wise. I might be sending it. Nope, I'm not sending it to anything. So this is all just the built-in effects here. And you'll see this for every instrument and thing that I've done except for these two samples. I tried to tweak elements of these parameters in every single clip. So this is the structure of the song, the intro, verse, kind of chorusy bit. And every time I try to actually automate these parameters, although you'll see not every instrument has automated parameters, but some of them have a lot. This little white dot means that there's automation. And these are just gray because I'm currently soloing this Cascadian pad thing. And this kind of stays the same throughout a lot of the song. But you can see later on there is automation on the filter frequency and this band pass. And something I'm doing as I build up this whole song is starting with a pretty low pass filter going on for almost every instrument, and then making it come to life with opening that filter up for most of the different components of the song. So the next element was this 106 bass. And interestingly enough, because I ended up sidechaining the bass to the kick of this drum kit, this intro part is actually somewhat the fullest the bass will sound, even though the filter's more open later on, because it's being sidechained to the kick every time the kick happens, and I don't think you hear that unless the kick is actually audible. But yeah, in this case, I'm mostly just automating the bass filter cutoff. This is the first drum loop, or not drum loop, I played it, but first clip. So there's a lot of this. And I played that in, and then I quantized it a little bit to get it a little bit more mechanical. And then I kind of add more layers. So now the kick is added. As well as like a clap snare. And the filter's opening up. Now another snare and a tom. And then we really open it all the way with every layer in there. And this is all just one drum kit, and it's basically just using the built-in components like these macros, the saturate, cut off, the low boost, all this stuff. I think I played with it a little bit, but it's basically the default, except that I'm automating that filter cutoff per clip to build up the track. Next major component is Acid Age, this little synth here, this lead synth. I'm automating filter cutoff, filter resonance, the drive, and the space. And again, this is when I'm trying to kind of make it open up more the further into the song we get. So by the end, it's much more open, it's much more obnoxious, but it fits the overall beat. And I should say, I had to Google this, but I found out how to get to the master track. It's this button here, if you didn't know. I had no idea, which is very funny. But because I was able to access the master really late into the process of working on this track, I added a glue compressor, I added a limiter, and I added multiband dynamics. Even though I don't know how to use this very well, my friend Jake uses this on the software version, and I want to understand these components better, so I'm starting to play with them. The big thing is I just wanted the overall song to be louder but never clip, so compression, limiting, multiband dynamics. This is like baby's first master chain. I'm not good at mastering. You can listen to my album, There's Something Better, which I'm very proud of, but the mastering on that, which I did myself, not amazing. So still a work in progress, but all of this is happening at the same time, so that's worth noting. But yes, the next things I added were these two different sample-based tracks. So I just loaded the sample up as a simpler instrument by going into a different pack in the browser. And, sorry, let's go here. And you can see, yeah, this is Vox male numerology from what is this? Chop and Swing. And then if we focus on this one, you're not going to hear this till the end of a, I think, 8-bar loop. So give it a second. And obviously when I'm building the song, I'm not building it in a vacuum, I'm listening. This is the Vox Hook City, I think from the same pack, potentially. No, this is Build and Drop, not Chop and Swing. But yeah, when I'm building it up, I'm listening to the whole thing and then just adding layers and layers and layers to make it sound good. The last layers I added were this DW Bell synth. That second note was a mistake, but I liked how it sounded, so I kept it in. Then I added this little lower part here. But I realized in the full mix, with just this, you don't hear that lower part very much. So I then added another instrument playing that same lower part. These are all Ableton instruments, obviously. I guess you could sample, but you can't use third-party plugins, so anything that is synth-based is an Ableton plugin. This drum kit is an Ableton drum kit. I'm clicked into the operator there. But yeah, this is Alley Gate. just one of the drum kits and drums. Might be part of a pack, but I found it in the just general drum browser. But yeah, building this up was really fun, and then going back and automating each clip to help it build into a real song, or at least the beginnings of a real song, was really fun. And then figuring out how to add those master effects was cool. Something I want to play with is you can add performance effects. So if you go into Device, Audio Effects, and Audio Effect Rack, they have these performance and DJ effects, and none of these were super cool to me. But you can build your own racks or import your own racks from the desktop. And so I want to build out a rack that lets me do the same sort of alteration I would do on Logic Pro with the performance effects or with the XY pad on an MPC, because it's definitely doable. And you can see here I added it after the glue compressor but before the limiter, so that nothing I do with this effect would cause us to go over the limiter's decibel limitation. Anyway, I'm going to delete that because I don't like that actual tool, but it allows you to add different effects, and I'm going to build a rack that makes it easier to affect these songs as I want while I'm performing them. But yeah, I think there's definitely still things I would love to come to the push, specifically a simple arranger, because right now you have this simple clip view. I think if I could hold shift and click this and then just see the arranger of the tracks, even if I couldn't do too much editing, just to be able to record into it and get a sense of what's happening would be really nice. Obviously you can do that in computer mode, or controller mode rather. You can just transfer your file over. Although I've had hiccups trying to transfer my files over, I haven't tried it recently, so I should check if that's gotten better, because I only recently updated to the most recent firmware. But it seems like they're really actively working on this, trying to make it even better, and it really is a fantastic device. Is it a $2,000 device? I don't know, but it recently dropped to $1,600 or $1,500 for Black Friday, which honestly I found a little offensive given how recent this device is and how much I paid for it, but that's just the nature of the game. I didn't know they did discounts like that. That to me kind of says it's probably not selling super well, but I could be wrong, at least the standalone version. But anyway, I hope you enjoy the song I made, or at least this work in progress. I hope you have an awesome week ahead. Thank you to everyone who's liked and subscribed to my videos, and to everyone who's checked out my music. My Spotify listeners are going up, the Apple Music listeners are going up, and it just means a lot that anyone is checking out what I do. If you do want to check my music, I have an album called There's Something Better. I'm having a pretty rough week. I hope your week has been better than mine, and I hope next week is great for both of us, and hope you enjoy this song. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and I'll catch you soon. Peace.